Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video. So I did a little purchase again, just a small one this time, and I bought some new acrylic gouache, a 24 set, so I don't have all of the colors, but still there are a lot of cool colors to play around with here. I always wanted to try like oil paints, and I know acrylic gouache is nothing compared to oil paints, but they dry a lot slower, and I should be able to have a little more control with these than with the watercolors, which is going fairly well at the moment, the watercolor, but I'm still not quite happy with how it is right now, so still a lot to practice on that end. So I hope with the acrylic gouache that I get a little bit more of that acrylic feel and a little less of the watercolor feel, so I can control a bit more and get it a little more opaque at the first time instead of having to place like 5 layers or something like that. So today I am going to try out acrylic gouache for the first time. And I hope you don't hear me swearing a lot in this video, but I will voice over it so I can keep the swearing to a minimum, and that I will get something which I am proud of, or at least I can live with the outcome. So stay with me until the end and let me know if you like the result or not. See you back at the end of this video. So let's get started with the first gouache painting ever for me, a little orangutan, which has been sent out with my newsletter pictures from some time ago, in October 2020 to be precise. So if you are one of my newsletter subscribers and have been for some time, you should have gotten this one in your inbox then. Now onto my findings of the gouache. The first thing I noticed was that when you add a lot of water to the paint, they kinda act like watercolors, and when you add less water, they become thick and opaque paints. So they seem to be very versatile, and that's already a big plus for me. Now when I was painting in the background, I got a little carried away with the blending abilities, which resulted in a background that didn't suit the subject at all. But I did get to test out the blending abilities of the gouache and was very pleased with that. Originally, I wanted to create a very abstract background with streaks of color resembling some sky and grass behind our little monkey, but that idea went out the door because I've added way more than a few strokes, as you can see. Either way, the background was in, so too late for that now. So I just started on the orangutan itself, which is the main focal point of this piece, so I really wanted to get him right. I wanted to test out how realistic I could get him without spending an insane amount of time on it, so I went for semi-realism. You had to be able to see that it was an orangutan without having to add lots of details. Now the blending made it fairly easy to get the transitions between shadows and lighter areas of fur, I guess. Is it called fur with an orangutan or hair? I don't know. If you do, make sure to let me know in the comments below and teach me something. Now I noticed that when I added a little white gouache to the colors, it became very creamy and opaque right away, which I had to be very careful of to not overdo this effect, since I really wanted to let my layers show through to create some depth and a little detail. The opaqueness, is that a thing? Came in very handy though when I wanted to add some details, in this case some fur or hair, on top of my underlayer. I didn't have to go over it more than once to make the strokes stand out, saving a lot of time by not having to go over it more than once as you have to do with watercolors. And you know what they say, time is money. I don't actually know who says things like that, but hey, someone at least said it once. And when I was happy with how it looked for my first try and I spent the amount of time that I could on it before I had to call it quits, I just blended out some of the harder edges that I created simply by going over the edges with a little damp brush. This made it blend out into the other paint around that edge, making the edges way smoother and not as harsh. Although you can't really see that on camera, apparently. So apart from the background, I'm happy with my first try with acrylic gouache and look forward to painting with this medium some more. I don't know if I will ever use it for the realism that I normally go for, but it's definitely a great medium for some looser sketches and a little cartoonier pieces. Okay, so my first experience with gouache, acrylic gouache that is, and I should give you an update. This is the piece that I got to, and I'm pretty happy with the monkey itself. It's like this little orangutan. That was part of my newsletter pictures, by the way. But the background, I wanted to go to see how it blended, and I'm really excited about that because it blends really well. But then I looked at the background with the orangutan on top and it just doesn't match. So I tried and went over it again with white to mute it down a little bit, and it was better, but still I thought it would be better to leave the edges white and just splashes of color, but too late for that now. So next time, I know they blend well now, so I don't have to try that again, and I can just make it a little bit more abstract. I love the fact that you can blend with them so easily, so I'm definitely going to keep on doing that because it's really an advantage over acrylics. Because with acrylics you can blend as well, but you have to be so much quicker and let the paint not dry completely, otherwise you can't blend anymore and that's it. With this, if you just put water on top again, if it's not too long that it's been on the paper yet, it blends like a charm. So super excited about that. I'm definitely going to keep doing this and hopefully get better at it with the background and the subjects, because right now it looks a little realistic, but not close to the realism that I'm used to. So we'll definitely have to improve on that. But if I keep this a little bit more abstract, I kind of like that as well. So maybe this will be the abstract medium. We'll see. Okay, so that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it and that you maybe learned something or got excited about trying gouache as well. Let me know in the comments below if you did, and if you have some tips for me, because I'm still a beginner at this, so I can still use all the help I can get. See you next week and have a great week.